Let's just jump right in here. Good, thank you so much. Let's open our Bibles just for a moment. And by the way, I love Brother Johnson. Don't ever feel like we're enemies or something. And we cut up a lot and pick on each other a lot. We're dear friends. And pray for Mrs. Johnson, the one that's married to him. Can you imagine how hard that must be? And she's in here right now. And they have wonderful spirit. We've traveled internationally together. We've been to foreign countries. It's just been a great time. We left Brother Johnson in a foreign country, but he keeps coming back. And so if you have your Bibles, we're in Genesis, if you will. Genesis, we're going to finish up a little bit where Brother Gray left off. And let's look down, if you will, please, in Genesis chapter number 29. 29. I got a lot of stories to tell you. My wife told me, she said, "You're speaking to the girls?" I said, "Yep." She says, "Why don't you just act like the dad and just talk to them like they're your daughters?" And so that's kind of what we'll do. I'm old enough to be some of your granddad. My oldest granddaughter's Michaela. She's 12. She just went into the teen group this year. This is her first teen rafting trip today. They're on a raft right now, not whitewater. I think it's no water. You know, it's just like one of those. It's like the Sacramento River. It takes 4 hours to float 100 yards or something. But anyway, that's what they're on today. But look at this, and I thought of this for this morning. What an interesting verse. Look here. We're looking at Jacob, and he ends up, look at this. It says in chapter 29 and verse 16, "And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah." Now, I heard about a little girl, went to Louisiana school. Sometimes are not real smart in Louisiana. That's where I'm from. And so the teacher said, "Write your name." So help me. She wrote L-E-A, a little apostrophe, H. L-E-A-H with a little dash on the top. How would you pronounce that? How many of you think Leah? Okay. How many of you think Leah? Here's how she pronounced it, LaDasha. The teacher said, "What?" Yeah, she said, "The dash don't be silent." So LaDasha. Anyway, here's Leah, we believe. Verse 16, "And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah. The name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed. 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 I thought, does that mean they were so affectionate they stared at each other, her eyes? Was she cross-eyed? Someone said she had the kind of eyes, if you went into a pasture and looked at a cow, those just great big eyes. Someone said that's what that meant. I'm not sure. It says, but Rachel was beautiful. So it describes Leah as she had nice eyes. But it didn't say anything else nice about her. I mean, her eyes were nice. You know, she had 2 feet, and so that's good. She had 2 hands. But then it says about Rachel, Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And guess which one Jacob loved? Look at that. And Jacob loved Rachel. And then you know the story. The father-in-law tricked him, and so he was reaping. Y'all know the story, right? So he's reaping. So he ends up marrying Rachel, he thinks. And in the Middle East days, when a girl got married, she'd have that veil on, kind of like these, who was that last night? The Unabombers that were here last night. Who was that? The terrorists who were here. Excuse me, Jezebel. But that's kind of how the bride looked when she got married. Can you imagine? You know, Jacob got married by faith. It's like, I hope she's under there. I hope this is her. And when she said, "I do," it was so muffled. I do. You know, he just was. Anyway, he brings her in the tent, goes on their honeymoon, wakes up the first morning. The sun comes out, and it's not Rachel. It's Leah. How would you feel, girls, if you woke up on the honeymoon and you were married to your fiance's brother? Can you imagine that? The shock. And so look what happens, verse 25. "And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah." Now, can you imagine how Leah must have felt? Here's what her husband said. "What is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore hast thou beguiled me or tricked me? Isn't that sad? I would hate to have been Leah. I've never met anyone in the Bible who says, if I was any Bible character, I'd like to be Leah, the fair-eyed sister that no one wanted. I've never met anyone that wanted to be Leah. Her sister was beautiful. She was just the sister. Isn't that amazing? Does that kind of get to you? Are you crying yet? Oh, okay. We need to cry for Leah. But look at this. It never was about Rachel, the beautiful one. It was always about Leah. Look at this. Look down into verse number 29, chapter 29, and verse 35. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah. Her son's name was Judah. His great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson's name was Jesus. Leah ended up in the family tree of Jesus. Rachel didn't. You know what I found out, girls? Sometimes it's not the beauty queens who have the perfect figure, the perfect hair, the perfect complexion that look like they would be on a magazine cover. A lot of times it's not that one that God does great things with. It's just the normal people. Maybe not the beauty queens. Every girl inside of their heart, whether you've asked this out loud or not, I am told that every girl asks this question: am I pretty? Am I worth pursuing? And you've got to have that question answered, because if not, all it takes is one wink from some guy, and then you compromise to do anything it takes to feel beautiful. My mom and dad, it's a miracle, they were married 65 years. My wife's parents have been married 63 years. I asked my dad about that. I said, Dad, how was it being married to Mom 65 years? It's a long time. He said, son, it was just like 5 minutes. I said, really? Then he said, underwater. It's something about marriage. We were in Botswana, Africa on a missions trip about 3 weeks ago. We were passing out tracts in the marketplace, and this Botswana lady was there, and she said, where are you from? I said, California. She said, when are you going back? I said, Friday. She said, I am too. I said, you're going to California Friday? She goes, yep, I'm going with you. I think that was a proposal. I think that's what I said, do what? Yeah, I'm going with you. I don't know if she wanted to marry me or she just wanted to live in California. I'm not sure. We were told that many of the people in Botswana are not married because the guys cannot afford it. Well, what's it cost to marry? Well, here's how they think of it. A family does not want their daughter to marry because then she's doing the housekeeping, she's doing the dishes, she's helping on the farm. They're losing one of their good workers. That's why they don't want their daughter to marry. Unless the boy that's marrying them gives them 8 cows. So 8 cows buys a wife in Botswana, Africa. One fellow said, what can I get for 2 cows? Anyway, but 8 cows. I was thinking years ago, that dating book had just come out, not the Just Friends, but we had one before that. I'm not going to name the guy's name, Mofi, but he attended Brother Treber's church. And he was reading this dating book. He was so nervous. It was his very first date. His parents had brought him to the house. It was going to be a double date. They were going to pick up his date, this girl. And he's looking through this dating book, how to greet her parents and how to talk and what to talk about. And he was so engulfed in it, they pulled up to the house. He still had the dating book in his hand when he went to knock on her door. He's got the dating book in his hand. I thought that was funny. So let me just ask you a few questions. Here's a few questions you want to ask yourself. Are you a spiritual person? Are you a spiritual person? Because you cannot add another relationship if this one is not right. So if this one is not right, and like Brother Gray said, and if it's not right between you and your parents, you don't want to add another one, like a boyfriend. And that's why you want to really work on these first. Number two, you want to ask yourself, am I fun? Am I fun? Now remember, we're called independent fundamentalist. And you want to emphasize that word fun. I had a roommate in college years ago, and he went on this college date. And when he came back, I said, well, how'd it go, Jim? He goes, it was good. She's a sweet girl. She loves the Lord. I said, well, good. He said, you know, she's got the book of Matthew memorized. I said, wow, the whole book of Matthew, I don't have that memorized. And Timothy. I said, really? And Philemon? No way. And Hebrews. I said, isn't that something? She loves the Lord. I said, are you going to take her on another date? He said, no. I said, well, how come? He said, I don't want to marry the Apostle Paul. Girls, you want to be a little fun. Years ago, I was preaching at a camp in Texas, and I'm laying in the bed, and Texas has a lot of varmints and critters that have possums and armadillos, and I'm looking up in the room, and I'm seeing 3 scorpions. 2 are on the ceiling, and 1 is on the wall. They're just crawling. So I thumped them down off the wall and kind of smushed their head, killed them, and all I had was this little Altoid, you know, those breath mints, that little metal can, Altoid. So I just scraped them in there because I wanted to bring them home and show my sons, you know, this is what a scorpion looks like. When I got home that Saturday night, my wife's unpacking my suitcase. Oh, Altoids. She opens up, she starts screaming, there's scorpions inside of there. My wife will not get close to a box of Altoids ever since. It's been over 20 years. So before I left, I found an old box of Altoids, empty, and I just put it on the island in the kitchen. Okay, moving right along. So several years ago, we were getting out of the car, and I had something to carry in the house. And my wife was in the car. I said, hey, Paul. He's our youngest son. Hey, Paul, get the door for Mom. Because my hands were full. I said, get Mom's door. So Paul got my wife's door, and she came in the house. I said, come here, give me a kiss. She said, Paul, come over here and give your dad a kiss. You want to marry someone that's fun? Are you a fun person? Let me give you this too. Do you have a walk with the Lord? Do you have a walk with the Lord? That's one of the sweet things that attracted me to my wife. Well, one was this, girls, here it is. My wife always smiled when we were in college when I was around. I'd walk up, I'd start talking to some people. If she was in the group, she would look at me and smile real big. Now make sure you have at least one tooth, and that'll really impress him. Someone said, here's a pickup line for people in Kentucky. Nice tooth. Nice tooth. You know, she's only got one. Oh, okay. That is kind of deep. Okay, dash, you remember one tooth. Okay. Are you a fun person? Do you have a walk with the Lord? So we were on the bus, and I said, what are you going to do this summer? And I picked up her Bible, and I started thumbing through it. I saw all these scriptures underlined and notes in her Bible and sermon notes. She said, I want to go home to my little town of 300 people and knock every door. I'm so concerned for my hometown. She had a walk with the Lord. My last day before I headed here, she was up sitting on the couch with her little colored pencils, marking in her Bible, had her little prayer journal out, praying for the kids, praying for the grandkids, praying for people. You want to have someone that has that. How come? Because only the Lord can mold someone and give them that fruit of the Spirit, love, peace, joy, gentleness, all that stuff. You want them to have that. If they'll prioritize time with the Lord, guess what? When they marry you, they'll prioritize time with you. Number next, what else should you ask? Well, just a statement here. Don't settle. Don't settle. Anyone can get married if they stoop low enough. So it's not, boy, I sure wish I was married. No, the goal is the right one. And you heard the horror story just now that Brother Gray told. You want to get the right one. Sometimes what happens in high school or even in Bible college, someone's a senior and there's no ring and there's no one dating them. No one's pursuing. So they get desperate. You've seen the TV show Desperate Baptist Wives. You've seen that, Desperate Baptist Wives. And it's like, it's a new guy in the youth group. Hey, it's a new guy in the college. He's mine. And the girl grabs his arm. And the other girl, no, he's mine. No, he's mine. No, he's mine. And Brother Myers gets a sword. All right, we'll chop him in half and give half of him to each of you girls. Just like Solomon. You don't want to get desperate. Well, he's the only guy interested. So what? If he's not the right guy, you wait. You wait. God knows your address. You don't have to chase some guy. You don't have to post yourself on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or any of those type things. Godly Christian patient girl. Here's my picture. Waiting on godly Christian guy. You don't have to do that. 1 Peter 3, the Bible says, in the old time, when women trusted the Lord. And if you're not careful, girls, you feel like, what's wrong with me? Where's the guy? Where is the guy? Let me encourage you. When my daughters were teenagers, I'd get Charity and Faith in the room, and I'd say, girls, the guy. And they'd say, yeah, Dad, the guy. Who you're gonna marry. Yeah, Dad. Yeah. Who is it? Is, okay, Dad, keep talking. Probably. And they'd say, he's probably who? And I'd say, he's probably alive right now. And they'd look and say, well, I would hope so. I used to tell our girls, the marriage is gonna be like a horse in a corral. A corral is a fenced-in area. They'd put the wild horses and then latch the gate. And I'd say, Mom and I are going to herd all the potential husbands, all of them, into the corral. You can pick any of them that you want. Well, that's great, Dad. And then we'd say, and right now there's none in the corral, but we're looking. My daughter Charity took a picture in front of an empty corral like, look, I'm so single at 16. You want to do this quickly. Look at their family. Boy, what Brother Grace said was so wise today. Look at their family. Do they match your family? If you look at their family and a little tune comes to your mind like this, da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-dun, you're in trouble. If they look like they fit with the Adams family, the Herman Munster family, you got issues. And girls, let me say this too. You say, well, what's their family have to do with them? They raised them. They will be a lot like that. If his daddy never had a job in his whole life, maybe the son's never going to have a job in his whole life. If the mother's a screamer, her daughter might be a screamer. And girls, you always want to look at the boy's dad and see if he has hair. Because I know how you are. Whether it's this, what's this English show that's so popular now? It's the, Downton Abbey. Whether it's Downton Abbey or Anne of Green Gables or whatever it is. If at the very end of the movie there's this long kiss and the guy swoops the girl down and she's running her fingers through his hair. If that's a big thing to you girls, you better look and see if his dad has hair. Because if his dad has no hair, his son's going to have no hair. 4 stages of hair growth. Bald, fuzz, was. He has very wavy hair. It waved goodbye. So that's important. What else? Let me just tell you this. Boys, what boys don't like. You ready? They do not like loud girls. Boys do not like girls that chase them. Dear so-and-so, if you asked me out, I would say yes. I've always liked you my whole life. Ever since I've seen you, I've been in love with you. Check. You like me or you don't? Yes, no, maybe. I could fall in love with you eventually. They don't like that. See, guys like to fish. They like to hunt. They're not sure if they can catch that fish. They're not sure if they can shoot that big animal. It's this hunt. And if you just jump into the ice chest, it's no fun. You want that guy to wonder, can I get her? Can I win her heart? Will candy help? Will flowers help? Will talking help? Will dates help? What can I do to win her? You want to be won. Say this too. Guys do not like girls that are always in the mirror. And they do not like girls who are never in the mirror. I want to say this too. Brother Grace said it. You do want to involve, if you don't have parents that can help you with this, youth pastor, parents, pastor, youth pastor, you want to involve people as you're choosing. When we hired our youth pastor, his very first Sunday, I think it was, I put all these mouse traps on the platform. I said, I'm talking about the will of God and how careful you need to be. I said, now take your shoes and socks off. He took his shoes and socks off. I blindfolded him. And I had him on the end. I had 12 mouse traps. And I said, all right, a little bit closer. A little bit, okay, a little bit to the left. And the crowd could watch. He was getting ready to step on those mouse traps barefooted. They were going to pop on his toes. But he listened to me. And that's why it's so important, young people, during this time of I like this guy or I like this guy or I think I'm attracted to this one. You want those people to guide you. Okay, that's not fun, so let's keep going. Here's another one quickly. What a lady that came to our youth group years ago, she was, and anyone will tell you, she was gorgeous. It's when I was a teenager. She actually competed in the Miss Baton Rouge pageant. That's 250,000 people. She was just gorgeous. Her hair, her face, not a blemish on her. Looked like someone off a magazine. But she came to our church. She was the envy of all the girls. And guess what? I found out later, she said, get this. She said, I was so lonely. Because no guys ever were interested in me. They always thought I had a boyfriend. So none of the guys ever asked me to any of the activities. And then the girls wouldn't talk to me because they were so jealous. They were afraid I would steal their boyfriend. So every Friday night and Saturday night, I sat at home alone. My brother was a little bit older than me. I remember one night, him and his friend Wayne says, we want to pick up a couple girls. We want to go on a date. So my brother got out this book, and I heard him calling all these cheerleaders at school. He was public school. So-and-so, you got a date? All right, this is Tommy. All right, never mind. And it was just, he was just going down the list to have some girl to go to a movie with and go somewhere and on and on and on. And he called her the beauty queen. No, I've already got plans. I'm going to, and on and on and on. So my friend and I went and played tennis that afternoon. I'm 10th grade. Me and Don Anderson, we go to the tennis court. We got the tennis balls. We're beating on that tennis ball. And right next to us in the next court is two beautiful girls. They're playing tennis. But they look like college girls, like 18, 19 years of age. Beautiful girls. Guess who one of them was? The Miss Baton Rouge girl. And we're playing tennis saying, wow, look at these girls. That was the girls my brother had tried to go on the date with that night, and they had plans. And I remember they finally looked at us and said, fellas, could y'all teach us how to play tennis? We said, well, if we must, come on over here. And we played tennis with these beauty queens for an hour or two. And we came home, and my brother said, what'd you do? I said, we went and played tennis. He said, that's sissified. I said, we played with so-and-so and so-and-so. My brother wilted is like, are you kidding? What a girl in our youth group years ago, her name was Virginia. Virginia had a chance to marry. She had a chance to fall in love. And she got very serious with a guy one time, and I heard probably they were going to get married. I talked to her years later and said, hey, did you ever? And she said, nope, I called it off. I said, well, how come? Was he sharp? Oh, yeah, real sharp. Did he graduate from Bible college? Yeah, he graduated from Bible college. Did he love the Lord? Oh, yeah, he loved the Lord. I said, why'd you call it off? Here's what she said. I sensed a reserve. I sensed he had not given it all to the Lord. And if he would hold back on God, he would probably one day hold back on me. That's amazing. One of my daughters, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it wasn't Faith. When she was a senior in high school, she really liked this guy. I mean, really, 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 really liked him. We wouldn't let her date, but it just seemed like they were always hanging out before church, always after church. We didn't let her sit by him. Mr. Athlete, he could throw a football 70 yards. Graduated from our Christian school. He just wasn't all in. And I could tell my daughter was flipped over him. We didn't let him date. No, I love yous, none of that. But I could just see her giving her heart. And I remember one night I called her to the bedroom. I had a box of Kleenexes. And I said, I want to talk to you. She said, okay. I said, here, you're going to need these. And she said, what? And I said, Charity, shh, I wasn't supposed to tell you which one. I said, Charity, I said, what's his name? We're never going to see him after he graduates from high school. I've seen this too much. He's not all in. He's not sold out. If you marry him, you're going to be raising your own kids. You're going to be coming to church by yourself. You said you wanted to serve God the rest of your life. It's over. This is not a discussion. This is not a question and answer. I'm making an announcement. It's over. You're not talking to him before or after church. It's over. He's never coming over to our house. This is finished. You know what she did? Cried and cried and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. Better for her to cry now than me cry later. Oh, what happened? Well, she went to Bible college. Did she meet the man of her dreams? No. Did she graduate from Bible college? Yes. Did she get married right after Bible college? No. She stayed for her master's degree. She said, the guy's not here, Dad. I've been here 4 years. I said, well, God may send him. She finished with her master's degree. No guy, no ring. I hired her own church staff. Then I hired a single youth pastor. And it wasn't long before he was discipling her. Lesson number 4, I love you. Do you love me? And it wasn't long before he took her on top of the top tower of the Golden Gate Bridge next to the light bulb and got on his knees. By the way, he asked me, I think I'm in love with her, Pastor. Can I tell her? I said, sure you can. He said, Pastor, I'd like to marry her. Is it okay if I propose? It'll be great. We got a great son-in-law. We loved him. We got a great daughter-in-law for my son. I told my wife, I think we love the daughter-in-law more than we love our son. Our daughter Faith, she lives here in Long Beach. She's a pastor's wife. She got engaged in a hot air balloon flying over Napa Valley. It's a wonderful thing, but you got to be patient. You got to be patient. Any guy with red blood wants to hug and kiss a girl and even do more than that. Marriage is not just that, it's a lot more. It's bringing home a paycheck. It's meeting your needs. It's staying up late at night talking. It's being the example. It's loving the kids. It's taking vacations. It's paying the house payment. It's getting you nice things. That's a lot of it. Let me just give you a couple more just quick stories. Not really much of a sermon. Oh, I'll give you this and then we're done. Oh, by the way, one more point. Here you go, girls. If you want to marry the right guy, let him win. Okay? So my wife and I are in college. We're dating. So we're playing tennis. You know, here's the serve. Wow. And then here's her return. Wow. And then I'm over here and here's the wow. Girls, let the guy win. Whether it's ping pong or tennis or foosball or whatever it is, you say, I beat him again and I'll beat him again. You old maid, you're not going to marry. Let the guy win. I don't care what it is. You say, I'm so much better. Let him win. Whether it's arm wrestling, let him win. I picked him up and body slam. No one's gonna marry you. You say, well, I'm a feminist and I just think do what you want to do. The guy wants to feel like he can win. So I'm in Bible college. I was married to the bus ministry. I had no time for girls. I didn't go to the activities, didn't do the dating things, the Valentine banquets. I didn't do it. But my last semester of Bible college, I said, there's one girl. I wonder if it would click. I just wonder. I'm only interested in one girl. Don't even know if she's interested. And it took all the courage I had. By the way, girls, let the guy down easy. If he's a nerd and his picture's in the dictionary under nerds, what's a nerd look like? And his picture's there. If he thinks he's Superman but doesn't have the strength to even pop open the shirt and show you the S, if he's not strong enough to do that, at least appreciate his good taste. Can I sit with you in church? No, but you sure have good taste. Let him down gently. It is hard. I asked a girl out in college one time. I'll never forget it. Real pretty. Worked at the information desk. Took all the courage I had. And they told us in college, don't just spring it on her and say, will you go to the activity with me? Because they may say yes quickly, and then they're stuck. Then they badmouth you all week long. So I said, all right. And I asked this girl, I said, there's an activity Friday. Can I talk to you about it after work? She said, sure. She smiled real big. I said, okay, this is it. So I walked up to her after work. I said, the activity's at this time. Be glad to pay your way. And it's kind of an informal thing. We'll meet here in the lobby. It's a whole group of people going. So what do you think? She said, I'm not working Friday night. And I don't have a date. But no. But no. It was like she took that knife and stuck it in my heart and twisted it around and then licked the blood off. It was, what? What do you mean? But no, girls, let the guy down. It's hard being a guy. See, y'all say, oh, it's so hard. We have to wait on them asking us. It's hard for the guy to get the courage up to ask. Men can't take rejection. So anyway, I'm in Bible college. Take all the courage I had. I walked up to my future wife, Verna, and I said, Verna? She goes, what? It's like, I've never spoken to her in 4 years of college. I said, can I save you a seat in chapel? She goes, do what? Can I save you a seat in chapel? Okay, in chapel dates are so romantic. You're singing 4 songs and then there's a sermon. So it's like stand up, stand up, stand up, sit down, and you just kind of look forward. You forget how to amen and you're just quiet. You don't sing loud. You're afraid, you're going to hit the wrong note. Now you're really embarrassed. So we finished chapel and I said, man, we didn't even get to talk. I turned around. I said, Friday night is an activity. Can I take you to the Singspiration? And they would just cook hot dogs and sing. I figured, well, that's easy. She said, sure. And that whole night I'm thinking, boy, there's something going on in my heart. We went to the Singspiration, rode there, talked all the way there. She's interested in me. I'm interested in her. We get around the hot dogs, and she sticks a hot dog on the coat hanger. By the way, we had a teen activity years ago, and I told all the teenagers, bring a coat hanger, put the hot dogs on. We had one black boy that took his afro rake, had a black power afro rake with the point. He stuck a hot dog on every one of them, put his comb in the fire. So my wife didn't have one of those. She had a coat hanger. She stuck the hot dog on it. The hot dog fell on the ground. I said, this is a test. She picks up the hot dog, wipes it on her skirt. It ain't that dirty. Sticks it back on. I said, now that's my kind of woman right there. That's a Louisiana woman. Wasn't long before I sensed I was in love. So I walked her home to her bus. She called a bus home, and I said, Verna. She goes, what? Big smile. I said, I love you. By the way, girls, I love you is not a statement. It's a question. So what do you mean? I love you. Your parents say it still to you. I love you. And you say, that's nice. And They want to hear it back. I wanted to hear it back. I said, I love you. And she smiled and said, that's nice. I'm thinking, turn your hearing aids on, woman. And I said, no, I love you. She said, and that's nice. She was so stubborn and rebellious. She wasn't going to say it till she wanted to. I went back to my dorm that week and all week long, oh, God, turn this woman's heart. Make her fall in love with me. God, work on her. Walk her back to the bus that week, and I said, I love you. And she says, I love you too. And that's when I pulled my jacket off, and my Superman cape came out, and I flew all the way back to the dorm and did the Spider-Man thing. And I thought, man, I'm ready to marry this girl. So it wasn't long after that, I bought an engagement ring. By the way, girls, in my day, you gave the ring and a microscope at the same time so they could see the diamond. We didn't have all the money these guys have now. My son gave his fiance a 2-carat diamond. That's the first diamond. Mine was like .002. So she's working for Toby Weaver. He's one of the professors at the college, grading his papers, secretarial stuff. I said, Brother Weaver, I said, I want to ask Verna to marry me, but I don't want her to say, that's nice. I said, why don't you kind of pry and find out if you think she'll marry me? He said, okay, where are you going to be? I said, the little restaurant on the campus. Okay. My wife comes in. Verna, I heard y'all are in love. Oh, yeah, we're in love. What would you do if Mike proposed? Oh, it's way too early. He wouldn't propose. But what if he did? Oh, I'd say yes. Oh, really? I'll be right back. He walks into the little restaurant where I'm sitting. He looks around, makes eye contact. All systems go. And he just walks out. Now, the way Brother Weaver tells the story, Brother Weaver says he got on his knees and begged her to marry me. He proposed for me. That's how the story's morphed. So we're walking around the lake. We sit on the little bridge. And I'd already thought, if she says, that's nice, she was going in the lake. It was going to look like an accident. And it was so corny, girls. You know, broke, no money, 40 years ago. So I sit down on the lake. I'm thinking, how do I get on my knees? If he doesn't kneel, don't marry him. So I said, look over there. And she looks, and I get on my knees. And I said, Verna, I'm a preacher. It's so corny. And we preachers give invitations. It's terrible. I am about to give an invitation, and I only want one person to respond. I said, will you? And I'm shaking my head. Will you marry me? She said, yes. Put that ring on her hand. It has been a wonderful journey. We never thought God would give us 5 children, 10 grandchildren. Guess where I took her for our anniversary this last year? Europe. 8 countries in 16 days. We were riding in a gondola in Venice. We were in the Colosseum in Rome. We were at the Acropolis in Greece. We were in Dublin, Ireland. We were in Edinburgh, Scotland. We were in London at the Tower of London and the London Bridge. She looked at me and said, you have taken me places. God has a wonderful marriage for 99.9% of you. But you're going to have to be patient. I hope you will. I hope you'll send me the wedding invitation. Dear Pastor Ray, youth conference, 46 years ago. You spoke. No, hopefully it's not that long. Please come to my wedding or send me a gift. P.S. We're not calling it off like Brother Gray's members. Father, bless this time. I pray you'd help us